Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Kevin Dwi Hertatama. I'm from R002 class. My student's number is 42. I am here to give my analysis on a thesis, which is from Alan R. Marcedo from School of Humanities in University of Birmingham. The title of the thesis is A Team Teaching, Who Shall Be Really in Charge? A Look at Reverse versus Traditional Team Teaching. So before I continue my material, I will a little bit explain about what is meant by team teaching. So as far as we know that team teaching is a learning strategy which provide two or more teacher with roles and duties for each teacher at the same time in learning process in classroom. However, this team teaching is still struggling to attain status as a reliable form of English foreign language teaching. So it is no wonder that many of people are skeptical about this team teaching, but yet another strategy for English teaching English as a foreign language. So Alan has mentioned of his two primary aim. First one is research on reverse style, which is by native English teacher who assisted by Japanese teacher of English versus traditional Japanese teacher of English, which is assisted by assistant language teacher. And then the secondary aim is to identify how these schools are making changes in the system in order to accommodate a greater need to make a team teaching is more effective and practical for both uh, assistant language teacher and Japanese teacher of English. These two primary aims leads to the objective of a thesis. So the first one is to discuss the history and the present status of team teaching in Japan, to illustrate the differences between various team teaching styles, to report advantages and disadvantages revealed in the questionnaire returns, to compare and analyze the survey results with the original hypothesis, and to suggest pedagogical implication from the research data and results. So let's begin to retell the review which is provided in the research. So Alan he explained about English, what is Japanese English background in education. So after the Meiji Restoration in 1868, Japan re-emphasized the importance of education in an attempt to become globally and technologically competitive. And also, English has also become recognized as an integral part of a higher education. Wharton, in his statement in 1986, in number 39, he stated that over than 90% of all Japanese people have studied English for more than 6 years since its first introduction to educational system. Also, Noma in 1993, in number 346, also mentioned that the enormous pressure placed on students to pass junior or senior high and university entrance exams leads them to the factor why English has become important school subject. With the emphasis on reading and writing skills, the chosen style of instruction was the grammar translation method. However, will this create problems because the Japanese teachers concentrate on grammar instead of speaking, listening, and writing. So the next, but the further so however, at the end of World War II, the Japanese Ministry of Education reinstated the importance of speaking ability in its publication of the new course of study instead of reading and writing only. So before the present era, Japanese is only consists of grammar, reading and writing only. This will lead to the challenge of recruiting teachers who had a good command of English. The Japanese Ministry of Education created a collaboration program that will be used to increase people's skills in English by creating GTE or Japanese Teachers of English. So then the literature is about native speakers of English. So Shimaoka and Yashiro in 1990 on chapter 9, they stated during the World War II and English was banned in Japan, and it led Japan to hard to find teachers who had a good command of English, especially in speaking and listening. Furthermore, it created a huge number of demand from Japan for finding native English speakers, and many of native English speakers were hired without credentials, training, or any English as a foreign language experiences. The advantage to those native English speakers in teaching lies in their superior English language competences and comparatively rich stock of colloquial expressions, idioms, and phrasal verbs. It is stated by Mejias in 1999, number 81. However, um, they stated that over 90% of native English speakers in Japan are not certified as teacher due to their complaint of frustration and unsuccessful lessons in classroom, lack of metalingual ability, and the last is no formal education training, too young for them to handle, and lack of in-depth knowledge. Then we begin to the Japanese teachers of English. Um, Japanese teachers of English is sometimes criticized because that many believe there is no justification for having two teachers in the classroom at the same time. Despite the claims that team teaching has many benefits, Tajino and Tajino in 2000 believe that there is a legitimate debate as to which of the two parties is more valuable of teaching in team in respect of qualification. Tajino and Walker also, in 1998, argued that a common ground to reaching a harmonious duet can be reached in team teaching because the traditional role of team teaching may be changing in the near future. Also, a common ground to teaching is harmonious duet can be reached because the traditional roles of team teaching may changing in the future. Uh, those advantages are first, high cultural awareness of Japanese students. Second is the understanding of the Japanese educational system. The third is knowledge of classroom management parameters. And the last is professional accountability as a certified teachers. So then is the style of team teaching. There are many types of team teaching being practiced currently in Japan. From Shimaoka and Yashiro in 1990, number 23, they stated that depending on the policy of the boards of education in individual schools, there are many styles of team teaching which being practiced in Japan. The fact that team teaching is relatively new in the field of TESOL encourages teachers to take their own initiative and experiment without relying too heavily on just one style. Presently, there are many Japanese teachers of English carrying out new techniques to further enhance the development of team teaching. And also, Shimaoka and Yoshiro explain about reverse team teaching as the assistant language of teachers or native English teacher being the leader, and the Japanese teacher of English being the assistant in the process of learning. So, as the next material, the methods of Alan used in this research. So, Alan used the quantitative method, which is mean by he gathered all the data and then he combined into the one single data which finished. It is proved by the research which is involved by many respondents. The respondents is about 100 schools as the variable up to this research. So Alan not used just one or two or three schools, but he used about 100 schools as the variable to find the problem in English teaching in Japan. Also, Alan used the population or sample used. The two groups used for this research were Japanese teacher of English and assistant language of teachers who are working at the public and private junior and senior high school in Japan. The reason this target group was selected is that these are two levels where team teaching is being conducted because solo teaching is more prevalent at the university level. And English instruction at the elementary school level is not scheduled to commence until April 2002. These two areas were not included in this research. The initial number of surveys sent to the junior and senior high schools was 50 respectively. The percentage of public to private schools were also divided evenly at 50-50. So the method is Alan is using questionnaire to make in order to find what is the problem. So the objective of this questionnaire is having two separate surface addresses addressed to ALT or native English teachers and Japanese teacher of English in purpose of obtaining data from both teachers working in the same school. So as the last method, he explained the methodology supported by statistic data. So as you can see in the PowerPoint, both graphic below shows the respondent answer from the questionnaires. So the first graphic shows teachers type school what type of school does the teachers work. So this number shows how many participants answer. So the second table is about teachers level at teaching students in school. So it shows how many percents that they teach on specific levels. So as the last explanation for me about the main finding from this thesis. So what the main point what I get from this research from Alan is that this research refers to the system of Japanese education. So the research is about charging on both team teaching style, reverse, and traditional style in order to create an effective team teaching style in English as a foreign language learning in Japan. Because that there are so many arguments that say team teaching is some kind of strategy that is still questionable because it is still questionable due to who should be in charge in the class at the same time? Should be single-handed or should be team? So that's all from me. I hope that you will get what I explained, and thank you very much, and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.